What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I've got another very important AMC update to bring all of you this evening. So what we're going to be covering in this update video is the wildness that we saw in the securities lending market today for AMC. We're going to take a really brief look at the option chain and the max pain, but the two main things that I really want to focus on are these two kind of narratives that I've seen really come up over the last 24 hours. The first one was that Citadel was potentially margin called in a very, very large way on one of their very large positions, a position that really tracks the overall market. We're going to go over the likelihood of this, the effects of this if this were actually true, and if it really is true. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about is there's been this tweet from the Chicago branch of the SEC about essentially trading halts in stocks to protect retail investors. Now, a lot of people are blowing this out of proportion. I'm going to go over exactly what you need to know as to when the SEC would do this and how long this information has actually been available to the public. This isn't something new that has popped up, and it's not the first time the SEC has tweeted about this before. So before we get into all of that information, if you enjoyed the information and analysis that I provide for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And down below in the description is a link to the free section of the Discord with myself, the Masked Investor, and Review Dork. If you guys have been on the stream for any extended period of time, you've seen people absolutely crushing it with the strategies that we have in there, specifically the 1348, but don't take my word for it. Go check out the free section, the gains channel, and what the people who are actually in it have to say, and then decide for yourself if making more money in the market is something that you would like to do. So what we're looking at here on AMC closed the day at $16.02, down about 3.73% on the day. Again, another very volatile day in the market. We saw the market open up, sell off, run back up. It was a pretty crazy day yet again. And tomorrow we are going to be getting essentially remarks and question and answers from Jerome Powell. It's going to be a wild day. So when we refresh these Ortex numbers over here, we're seeing the utilization at 68.78%. Remember, utilization's lower because the institutions have bought more shares, saying they're going to loan out these shares, but they're not actually at the current time, even though we are getting very, very close, if not at all-time high short interest numbers. We have 20.81% estimated short interest on AMC right now, 106 million shares currently estimated to be shorted in the market, with 6.53 million shares borrowed today. Now, when we come over to take a look at the option chain, nothing too crazy this week for AMC. 7,000 call contracts in the money, 133,000 contracts out of the money. In the put contracts, about 49,000 contracts in the money on the in the money and out of the money. And then max pain, when we come over here, is going to be $19 a share. Now, let's get into this situation surrounding Citadel right now. So a lot of people were sending me this picture today from a Reddit post that came out that said that there was a really big spike of volume. I believe it was yesterday. And they thought that this was a large institution getting margin called. And they went and took a look to see who were the largest holders of the SPY, the ETF that tracks the top 500 stocks in the overall market. And you see that Citadel right here is the second largest holder of shares of the S&P 500. So when you think about this right here, it would make a decent amount of sense. Citadel has a lot of shares. A lot of these institutions are wildly over leveraged. I've shown you guys in the past that Citadel, the hedge fund sides, overall leverage levels right now, according to reported data, is about 7 times. So if this position were to go against them on the S&P 500 with the craziness that we've seen in the market recently, yeah, it would make sense that they were getting margin calls. But you're kind of cherry picking data here when you're looking at this, and you're not looking at the full scope of Ken Griffin's portfolio and what he actually has on the overall market. Remember, the name hedge fund, the first word, hedge. They are always going to be having essentially a hedged position just to protect themselves against any downside. When we come over to Citadel's previous 13F, we can see right here, Citadel Advisors LLC. We don't even have their 13F from Q4 yet. So these are numbers from Q3. They're most likely pretty outdated. And we can see that their most updated numbers right here, they have about 700,000 SPY put contracts. Now you see here how it says shares. Well, the shares that are listed here are essentially the shares that their put contracts would end up controlling. Now, they also have SPY calls, and then they have those SPY shares that we were looking at before. But we can see that the difference here, they have almost a 2x multiple of puts than they have with calls on the SPY. So they are pretty adequately hedged right now. And again, I know everybody likes to think of Citadel, the hedge fund, as the big bad guy against AMC. That's not really the case. It would be their market making side that would have created all of these synthetics, the naked short positions, according to their legal ability to do so. How it's outlined in Reg Show. Again, that doesn't mean that it's not a problem in our market. That's just how we have to look at everything that's going on here. So I've seen this spread around a lot today, but you can see here, again, if you have a lot of puts, you have shares, and you have a slightly less amount of calls, they're probably properly hedged, and those put contracts that they have are skyrocketing in value and kind of counteracting the losses that they're taking on their call positions and on their share positions. Now, I want to get into this situation with the SEC in their statements that they've made surrounding trading halts. So when we come over here, this is going to be the tweets that we need to look at right here. So the first one, what happens when a fund liquidates? Who decides to liquidate it? How are investors notified? Well, this sounds very familiar. The actual SEC Twitter page seems to have put this out a couple of weeks ago. Then we see this one right here that came out yesterday. The SEC can suspend trading in a security if it demonstrates that the action is in the public interest and necessary to protect investors. Find out more about trading suspension. So a lot of people were looking at this tweet and saying, well, they're preparing for something. Should this make us nervous that they could potentially just randomly suspend AMC or GME if the SEC deems that it is going to protect investors? That's not necessarily the case. We have to think about what are the conditions that need to be met in order for the SEC to actually do this. And this isn't the first time that this has come out. When we come over to the article right here, if you click this link, you come right over here. You can see the Investor Bulletin trading suspensions. When did this come out? December 14th, 2021. This has been around for a decent amount of time, couple of months, and we've known about these types of rules pretty much since last summer. So when we see this right here, why would the SEC suspend trading in a stock? A lack of current, accurate, or adequate information about the company. For example, when a company is not current in its filings of periodic reports. Questions about the accuracy of publicly available information, including company press releases, reports about the company's current operational status, financial condition, or business transactions. Essentially, if the company itself, so in this situation, which they're not, if AMC was the actual perpetrator committing fraud against its own investors, then the SEC would be able to step in. Then when we come down here, questions about trading in the stock, including trading by insiders, potential market manipulation, and its ability to clear and settle transactions in the stock. So when we think about that right there, clear and settle transactions. Well, you didn't see that happen last January when you saw basically the brokers, the clearinghouses, and the market makers unable to essentially clear and settle all of these transactions. So this thing is here that the SEC can step in and do this, but we haven't really seen this really enacted in the past, where the SEC is going to halt a stock for an extended period of time due to one of these different conditions that they've outlined here. And the other thing that we need to think about is if they were to do this, I've heard people saying that it could be a 10-day halt. Even if it is, I'm not sure exactly what the day is. I've heard 2-day before. What do you think would happen with the retail investor community during a halt period of if potentially on the off chance this were to ever happen? Everybody would be up in arms, and as soon as that stock is back open, everybody would be buying. So hopefully everybody kind of understands the scope of this information that we're kind of looking at here. I want everybody to really take this time that we have when we're learning about the market right now to really think about the information that people are trying to relay to you. Does it make a lot of sense? And can you go and verify this information for yourself? Speaking about that Citadel situation, it's unlikely that they were getting margin called due to the amount of SPY puts that they actually have, according to their previous 13F filing. Now, it's possible that they have sold some of those puts. We will see when their new filing comes out, but that isn't even available to us yet to really make a strong conclusion. And this thing with the SEC right here, this isn't some sort of warning that the SEC is giving us. They like to put these things out and just kind of let investors know what is going on. And we have seen kind of notices like this even before December 14th of 2021. So that is going to wrap up this update on AMC. If you enjoyed the information and analysis that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. So I hope you guys are having a great evening, and I'll see you guys in the next video.